Hello friends, welcome back to automationtestinginsider.com. So in this video, I'm going to show you weights in Selenium. So we'll talk about different weights in Selenium WebDriver, like we have implicit weight, explicit weight, and fluent weights. Okay, so we'll talk about each and every weights, and I'll show you how do we get uh, how we can get no such element exception. Like what are the different scenarios where we'll get no such element exceptions and some other exceptions. Okay, and how to handle using weights. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss today. So this is the agenda for today. So we'll talk about what is synchronization and why do we need Selenium weights, and I'll divide weight into different categories. So we'll talk about weights categorization, why we use weight commands, we'll talk about it, and I'll give you demo of each and every weights. Like we have Thread.sleep, that is static weight. We have pageLoadTimeOut. Okay, and as I talked about implicit weight, explicit weight, and fluent weight, I'll give you a demo on each and every weights present in Selenium WebDriver. So what is synchronization and why do we need Selenium weight? So let's first discuss like why do we need Selenium weight. Okay, so in today's world, most web applications are developed using Ajax and JavaScript. So Ajax component, so Ajax is nothing but asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay, so take an example. Any web page has a particular section which is getting updated frequently. So that is because of Ajax components, because of the Ajax call. So what it does, uh, it directly interacts with server and get the data and updates the elements or that particular section frequently. Okay, so when a page loads on a browser, the various web elements that someone wants to interact with may load at different time intervals. Okay, so that particular area, the elements present on that particular area may load at different time intervals. So definitely that creates the problem while inspecting those web elements. Okay, so this obviously creates difficulty in identifying any element. Okay, on top of that, if element is not located, then we'll get element not visible exception if that element is not visible, and we'll get no such element exception if that element is not at all present in document object model. Okay, so let me give an example. So in my blog automationtestinginsider.com, I have added one element. If you navigate to demo websites, click on these different elements on a web page, and at last I have added an element, click me. Okay, so this section says test Selenium weights. Click on button click me and it will display message after 5 seconds. So let me just click, and then it will display message, welcome to automation testing insider, after 5 seconds. Okay, now let's handle this scenario without using weights. Okay, and then I'll discuss like what is synchronization later on. So my Eclipse is already open. So we have already one project called practice. Here I'll create new package, weights demo, and inside this I'll create new class demo1. I'll select public static void main. Simply I'll copy a few lines of code from previous class to launch the browser. No need of this thread.sleep right now. I think we have the same URL, but let's save aside. We have to just copy paste the URL which we are going to automate, driver.get URL. Now what I'm doing, what I'll do, I'll inspect this first. Click me. So it has an ID. It has ID test wait 123. So driver dot find element by dot ID, and this is the ID dot. We have to perform click operation, right? We are going to click on this click me, and then this message will appear after 5 seconds. Now let's inspect this message as well. So I'll write X path for this one. So we have div section, div tag, and I'll use text function inside this, and I'll put welcome to automation test insider. So here we got 1 of 1, so this X path is absolutely correct. And here I'll write driver dot find element by dot X path, and I'll put the X path over here, semicolon, and let's store in web element. Now what we are going to do, let's extract this text, okay, from that web element. So ele dot, we have get text method, and I'll store, that will give a string, and we have to store in a string variable. And let's simply print that text. Okay, the message is and I'll give text. So this script is ready at last. Close the browser, driver.close. Okay, so this is basic script, simple script. Okay, let me just explain. So here we have launched the browser. We are going to launch this automation test insider, that particular page, and we are inspecting this click me. We click on that, we're going to click on that, and after that, after 5 seconds, it will give a message that is welcome to automation test insider. Okay, so here it will, the message will appear after 5 seconds after clicking on this particular element, but I'm not putting any wait over here in my script. Okay, and simply I'm inspecting that element and extracting the text from that element and printing it. Okay, simply I'm printing it. Okay, so let me just run this program. Let's see what will happen. So browser is launched, navigated to that URL, and it will click on that particular element, the button click me, you can see that, and I think it is done. Let me just show you. Here you can see we got some exception, so no such element exception. So what it says, unable to locate element, this element. Okay, because what happens here is we have not put any wait over here, so our script will not wait for 5 seconds. Okay, so that's why it gives an error at that particular uh, at line number. Let me just show you. Like you can see our 20, line number 20, we got the error. Okay, and yeah, because in our script it should wait for 5 seconds, then only it print this value, right, this text. However, we have clicked on this, so that's why it prints this one. But as per our script, it should go further, like get the text from that element and print it. but our text our script is stopped here only. Okay, so that's why we need to handle that kind of scenarios. Okay, we need, okay, Selenium waits. So that kind of scenario obviously creates difficulty in identifying any element. On top of that, if element is not located, then we'll get element not visible exception and no such element exception. So that's why synchronization comes into picture. Now let's talk about synchronization. Okay, so basically in test automation we have two components. We have application under test and our script, or we have our automation tool. There we have automation script. Okay, so both these components will have their own speed. As you can see in this example, my application has its own speed because it should, I mean, it takes 5 minutes, 5 seconds to display this message. Okay, whereas a script has its own speed because here we didn't put any kind of wait. We should write our script in such a way that both the components should move with the same and desired speed, so that will not get element not found errors, element not found, or no such element exceptions. Okay, so this is how this is what about synchronization. Okay, and synchronization can be classified into two categories. We have unconditional, there is no condition in that. So for that we are using Thread.sleep. We'll discuss about Thread.sleep in detail in coming slides. And we have conditional synchronization. There we have implicit, explicit, and fluent waits. Okay, so we'll discuss about different waits in coming slides in detail. And before discussing about weights categorization, let me just talk about like why we use wait commands. So wait commands direct test scripts to pause for a certain time before throwing exceptions. Okay, so Selenium WebDriver provides three commands to implement wait in test. So these are the different categories of Selenium waits. So basically we have two types of waits, implicit and explicit. We'll discuss like what is implicit and what is explicit in detail. And this implicit has dynamic wait here, which classified into three categories. We have implicitly wait, pageLoadTimeOut, and set script timeout. Whereas explicit can be divided into two parts, static wait and dynamic wait. Thread.sleep is static kind of wait, dynamic wait is WebDriver wait and Fluent wait. Why we used to call them as static and dynamic, we'll discuss. Okay, so let's first talk about implicit wait. So implicit waits are used to provide a default waiting time, let's say 30 seconds, okay, between each consecutive test command across the entire test script. So this is kind of global wait. So if you provide 30 seconds in implicit wait, and this is kind of dynamic wait as well. So this will apply for all the elements on a web page as long as the driver available. Okay, so suppose we have given like 30 seconds, so it will wait for 30 seconds before an element throws an exception. Okay, take an example. In this case, if you provide 30 seconds, okay, and it will wait for only for 5 seconds, okay, and rest 25 seconds are not required. So this is what that's the reason it is called dynamic wait. So if you found if our script found the element within 5 seconds, okay, then 25 seconds are not required, remaining 25 seconds it won't wait. Okay, and take an example, if we are unable to find within 5 seconds, then it will wait up to 30 seconds. So this is implicit wait. We'll discuss, I'll show you a demo also. What about explicit wait? So explicit waits are used to hold the execution until the time a particular condition is met or the maximum time has elapsed. So explicit wait is for particular element where we'll put some certain condition, some expected condition. Okay, so we'll discuss like what is explicit wait with the help of example in our script. Okay, what about fluent wait? So the fluent wait command defines the maximum amount of time for Selenium WebDriver to wait for a certain condition to appear. So this will also works on the basis of certain conditions. Okay, and it will wait for maximum time. We can, there are two components here. We can give maximum time, as well as it also defines the frequency with which WebDriver will check if the condition appear before throwing the element not visible exception. So here we have two kind of two parameters, I would say, I mean two weights. One is maximum time, will give maximum time like let's say 30 seconds, and there is a frequency as well. So take an example, if you give frequency like 3 seconds and maximum time is 30 seconds, then each and I mean every 3 seconds it will check whether element is present or not. Okay, up to 30 seconds. So every 3 seconds it will check whether element is present on the web page or not. Okay, we have another timeout wait, that is page load timeout. One of the timeouts is focused on time a web page needs to be loaded. So this wait is for web page. Okay, the page load timeout limits the time that the script allows for a web page to be displayed. Page load timeout is useful when we perform a performance test. Okay, page load timeout is applicable only to driver.get and driver.navigate two methods in Selenium. Okay, so this is applicable only when we navigate to URL using driver.get or driver.navigate to method. Okay, and if you click on any link, that will if that will open a new page, then it won't work. Okay, and here we have thread.sleep. So sleep is a static method that belongs to the thread class. So this method can be called using the reference of class name, that is thread. So if you, this is kind of static wait. So if you use thread.sleep while performing automation testing with Selenium, then this method will stop the execution of the script for a specified duration of time. So let's say if you give like 30 seconds. Okay, and even if you get element within 5 seconds or 10 seconds, so still it will wait for 30 seconds. So that's why it is called as static wait. Okay, now let me give you demo on page load timeout and thread.sleep first, and then we'll discuss about implicit, explicit and fluent wait. So what I'll do, I'll copy paste this one. I'll create new class demo2. So driver dot manage dot timeouts, and let me just show you, like these are the different syntax. So for page load time we have driver dot manage dot timeouts page load timeout. Okay, this is the method. So yeah, timeouts, and here we have page load timeout methods, and here we have to give page load timeout method. Here we have to give, let's say 5 seconds, and time unit dot seconds. Here we have seconds. And guys, this is for to load the web page. Okay, here we can limit the web page load timeout. Okay, and what I'll do, let me just comment all this line as of now. Okay, because we are uh, currently we are discussing about page load timeout only. Okay, So before navigating to this URL, I'm putting this page load timeout. Okay, and let's say our page will load, whether it will load in 1 second or not. Okay, so I'll put 1 second of page load timeout. Okay, the infinite time is -1. Okay, so I think it will take infinite time to load this web page if we, that is default timeout, if we don't put this one. So basically, as we have discussed, this is useful when we perform performance test. Okay, and the page load timeout limit the time that the script allows for a web page to be displayed. So let me try with 1 second whether we are whether our page is getting open or not. Okay, so let's run this. I think in 1 second our page is not getting loaded. So here you can see we got exception. You can see timeout exception, 20th 20th line. You can see this line. Okay, let me just show you. Here you can see on 20th line we got this selenium dot timeout exception. Okay, because here we have given the limit of page load timeout as 1 second only. Okay, so if you give proper like enough time like 5 seconds, then if it will definitely page will load. So this will sometimes we used to give like 20 or 30 seconds time, because if it takes more than that, then there is a loading issue for that particular page. Okay, here you can see it loads successfully, I guess. Oh, still we got, because it takes more than 5 seconds as well. If you give 10 second, let's say 10 seconds, there it should be load successfully, I guess. Still it is loading. Now it is loaded. I think this time, yeah, now you can see we don't get any error or exceptions. Okay, so this is page load timeout. And just remember that it will work only with driver.get and driver.navigate2 methods. Okay, now let's talk about another wait. Let me remove the comments. And what I'll do, yeah, what I'll do here, let's remove this one. This is not required, or let me just, okay, let's remove this instead of commenting this. And here I'll put Thread.sleep. As we have already seen that while trying to, when we're trying to find out this finding this element using find element method, then we got no such element exception, because it takes time to load 5 seconds, right? So here I'll put Thread.sleep. Let's say if I put 4 second, whether it will work or not. So still it should throw an exception. Let me just run this. Page is loaded. It will click on, I think it is clicked already, but I think we got exception. Here you can see no such element exception, right? Because we have given only 4 seconds of wait. Okay, this is in milliseconds, so 4000 means 4 second. Because it should, we should give 5 seconds, because this element takes 5 seconds of wait to enable this web element. So let me just give 5 second over here, then this time it should work. Page is loaded. Hopefully it should work, because we have given 5 seconds, so that means it will wait for 5 seconds and that element will be enabled. Still we got because it takes time to load that element, so let me give proper like 10 seconds, whether it will work or not. I think it should work, but it will wait. What is the disadvantage of Thread.sleep is it will wait for 10 seconds. Even if you get that element within 5 seconds, it will still wait for 5 more seconds. Now it will click me, that message will appear and it will close the browser later on. 1 second, something is wrong, I guess. What happened? Sorry, I put this wait at wrong position. We should, sorry guys, I should put over here after clicking on that element. Okay, so let me just put 5 second over here. Yeah, it should work definitely. Sorry about that. Browser is launched, navigated to URL, and it will wait for 5 seconds to display that text after clicking on that element. Now you can see we got this message. Okay, we just waited for 5 seconds, so let me just, so disadvantage of this one is if you put like 10 seconds, let's say 10 seconds, so it will wait for, even if you get the element in 5 seconds, it will still wait for 5 more seconds. Okay, so this is about Thread.sleep. Now let's talk about implicit wait. I'll copy this one, put it over here. I'll open this, and instead of Thread.sleep, and we'll use implicit wait. And implicit wait we can declare here as well. Manage dot timeouts. We have one function called implicitly wait, and here we have to give, let's say 5 seconds, and time unit dot seconds, and this is global wait guys. Okay, so this will applicable for every elements, so this will applicable for this element as well as this element. So here we are interacting with two elements, right? This element and that button, and this particular element which will appear after 5 seconds. Okay, and we can declare, we can give this value wait globally once we declare our WebDriver. Okay, once we initialize our driver. Now what I'll do, I'll put 4 seconds as of now, so it should throw an exception. Let's see. it will click on that element, text will appear, but it will throw an exception because the script is unable to handle uh, after this, right? After clicking on this, it will unable to find this element. So here you can see no such element exception, right? Because here we have given only 4 seconds. So let me just put like 5 seconds. Definitely it will work. Yeah, here you can see we got this message and our test is successfully executed. Okay, now let's put like 40 seconds of wait. Okay, and what is the difference between this implicit and thread.sleep is this is dynamic and this one is static, right? Thread.sleep is static wait. So here if you put like 40 seconds and if you get the element within 5 seconds or with 5 seconds, then it won't wait for further 35 seconds. Okay, it will execute the script successfully. Let me just show you without waiting for 35 seconds, remaining 35 seconds. So that's why we used to call this as dynamic wait. Here you can see within 5 seconds we got this text and it is displayed in the console. So this is implicit wait, and what else remaining? Implicit. So implicit waits are used to provide a default waiting time like 30 seconds. So there is no condition in that because it is global wait and it is applicable for every element. Now explicit wait. So explicit waits are used to halt the execution until the time a particular condition is met or the maximum time has elapsed. Okay, so most of the time we are using explicit wait. So if you have we'll discuss the difference between implicit and explicit wait in coming slides. Okay, let me just give a demo of explicit wait. So here what we'll do, we'll copy this, just paste over here, demo 4. And what is the syntax? Here we have syntax for explicit wait. To just save our time, let me just, so here we'll create the object of WebDriver wait. I think already I have here, yeah, this one. I'll copy this, and instead of here we have, let's remove this one. After this one we have to give this WebDriver and we have to import WebDriver wait. So what we'll do in explicit wait, we have to create the object of WebDriver wait. Okay, and from org.opencreate.selenium.support.ui just export, and it takes two parameter, the constructor driver and this is the wait time. Okay, and guys it takes, we have method called until, and here we have expected conditions dot visibility of element located by. So in one of the slides I have mentioned about different expected conditions, so I'll show you that one. Okay, and here we need to just provide the x path. So what is the x path of our, yeah, this is the x path, so I'll provide this x path here, and yeah, I think it is fine. Something is wrong. Yeah, we have to import expected conditions as well. Okay, now This is not required. Yeah, we can delete this. So this is our explicit wait. So let's see for 4 seconds first, and then we'll see for, we should get no such element again, because we have given here only 4 seconds of wait. Browser is launched, navigated to URL, and it will click on that element. Yeah, it is not closing the browser. That means we got, yeah, we got this exception, timeout exception. The expected condition is failed, right? So here we'll get timeout exception. The waiting visibility of, right, Fluent wait. Yeah, so here what I'll do, I'll put 5 seconds. So this is also dynamic, even if you put, I'll show you that later on. So let me just put 5 and then run it. It will click on that element, click me, and then you can see successfully executed. So this is also dynamic wait, guys. If you put more than 5 seconds here, then it will wait only for 5 seconds, because element will be visible within 5 seconds only, I mean 5 seconds. Okay, so even if we put, let's say I'll put 100. Okay, let me just rerun. It will wait only for 5 seconds. Here you can see quickly it is executed the case, because we found the element within 5 seconds, in 5 seconds. Okay, so this is explicit wait. And here one more thing, you can create your own find element method. Okay, because then you can use for any element, because every time if you use like this, if you use code like this, then you have to write, you have to create the, I mean, no need to create the object, but at least you have to write expected condition every time. Okay, so to avoid that case, what we'll do, here we have one method which I have created, find element method, which I'll create outside main method. Okay, and that takes three parameters: driver, xpath is xpath, okay, and timeout. So here what I'll do, I'll create one string variable, give name as xpath, and here I'll put my xpath. This is my xpath. This is fine. Now I'll remove these two lines of code, because we have this library which I have created. Okay, I've created find element. We have created our own find element. Okay, that takes care of this expected condition. Okay, it takes care of explicit wait. Now here what I'll do, I'll call this method find element. That takes three parameters. First take driver, second is string xpath. So here I'll give xpath. What is the next? Timeout. So I'll give 5 seconds, and we'll store web element like this. Okay, so simply we are calling this method find element. Okay, that will return web element. So we are storing in web element variable, and simply we are getting the text of that web element and printing this. And here we have given wait of 5 seconds, so that definitely it should work. And we can use this find element method for any of the web elements on our web page, okay, which require to wait for a certain time. Okay, so let me just run this. It should work as we have executed earlier. Browser is launched, navigate to URL, and it will click on that web element. It will display the message. Now you can see successfully executed. So this is how I'll provide this in my blog. The complete notes I'll provide guys in my blog. Okay, and what is the next? We have done with explicit wait as well, and now let's talk about fluent wait. So the fluent wait commands define the maximum amount of time for Selenium WebDriver to wait for a certain condition to appear. So as we have already discussed, like it takes two things. One is the complete, or you can say the maximum time, and second time is frequency. So I'll create another class. Let's copy paste this one. Okay, and what I'll do here, if you write fluent wait here, fluent wait, and if you mouse over, one second, let me just show you fluent. Here you can see, so we need to just use this code, okay, to work with fluent wait. And but this code is the older one. Okay, I've changed, I made some changes, so this is the latest one. So let's use this one. And instead of X path, I'll use, yeah, we can directly give this X path, or let's use this one only, like this. And what I'll do, we have to provide the weights directly here. Okay, so no need of this one. And let's delete this method as well, not required. We have to import weight from org.openqr.selenium support.ui. We have to import this duration also from java.time. Now it is done. Fluent wait is also done. So this is the until also what happened. Yeah, this function we have to import from java.util function. Yes. Okay. Now it is done. So this is fluent wait code. Okay. Everything is done. Here I'll provide the maximum time. Let's say, yeah, 100 seconds, and here every 5 seconds it will check. Okay, so it should work. Browser is launched. Navigate to that URL, automationtestinginsider.com, and it will click on that element. Click me. It will display the message. Now you can see successfully executed. So this is fluent wait, and here we can provide, we should give like maximum time 5 seconds, because we are going to wait for 5 seconds only. Here every second we can check. This is the frequency, and this is the total time. Okay, let me just run this. You can see with timeout, so this is the total time. This function talks about the total time. You can see sets how long to wait for the evaluated condition to be true. Okay, and the second one is polling every, sets how often the condition should be evaluated. So how often means every second it will check whether element is present or not, and this ignoring function is to ignore the exception. Okay, let me just rerun this. So this time also it should fine, because we have given maximum time 5 seconds. So let's run this. Yeah, here you can see if you put 4 then it will throw an exception. Okay, so this is all about different weights, and let's go back to the slide. So discuss this. So this is the syntax. So I'll provide the complete notes in my blog, and this is the difference between implicit and explicit. Okay, so implicit wait time is applied to all the elements in the script. Explicit wait time is applied only to those elements based on the conditions, as we have seen. In implicit wait, we need to specify expected conditions on the element to be located. Sorry, we need not need to apply specify this condition, expected condition. Here we have to specify the expected conditions. Okay, and it is recommended to use when the element are located within the with the time frame specified in implicit wait. Okay, so if you know like that particular element will be visible in that particular time, then we should use implicit wait. Otherwise we should go for explicit wait. Okay, and yeah, this is useful for a small application. Okay, and for larger application explicit wait is good. And this is a note, like not recommended to use both weights, implicit and explicit, together. Let me show you practically what will happen is, because this implicit is global wait. Okay, so let's, if you put explicit and implicit together, so it will first, based on this explicit condition, it will wait for that particular time, let's say like 5 seconds, and still if you are not able to find that element, then it will go for implicit, I mean it will add that implicit wait as well. Sorry, it will first, because this is global wait, so it will wait for that amount of time and then it will go for that particular condition. So take an example. So let me just show you this one, or let's copy paste this one. Demo 6. So if you put both explicit and implicit together, where we have implicit, here we have implicit, I guess. So let's say this is implicit wait, and we have explicit wait here. Yeah, in this class itself, let's try that one, that scenario which I'm going to explain. Yeah, this one, because this we are using explicit wait, right? And here I'll put, yeah, so here we have used implicit wait, we have given, let's say 10 seconds. Okay, and we have this explicit wait also 10 seconds. And if you are trying to find an element, let's say this element, and suppose this element is not at all present in that particular page, let's say I'll make some changes over here. So it will wait for 10 seconds as well as, I mean 10 seconds of implicit wait as well as 10 seconds of explicit wait. So that's why we should not use both the waits. So let me just run it. After 20 seconds only it will throw exception. It will try to find out that element, the XPath, which we have we made some changes in the XPath, because that element is not at all present. First it will click that element, and then it will try to find that element which is not present. Now it is, yeah, I think, yeah, it waits for I think 20 seconds. Here you can see unable to find this element. So that's why, because we have given implicit wait, the global time, as well as explicit wait together. Okay, so that's why it adds both the weights, and then it will throw after 20 seconds the exception. And these are the expected conditions. So I'm sorry, in order to declare explicit wait, one has to use expected conditions. The following expected conditions can be used in explicit wait. So these are the different conditions: alert is present, alert element selection, okay, state to be, text to be present in element. So these are the different expected conditions we can use along with explicit wait. So I think we have covered all kind of weights: implicit, explicit, and fluent weights. Also we have seen page load timeout and thread.sleep as well. Okay, and guys, from next video onwards we'll talk about TestNG framework. Okay, so thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye.